well, because they're likely going to have to move down south from that north side.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another live stream.
Down towards
मेरा कोई प्लान नहीं था आज स्ट्रीम करने के लिए. मैं कल 12 घंटा सोया मैंने. सर्दी चल रहा है, फीवर चल रहा है लाइटली. बिल्कुल एनर्जी नहीं है. बट मैंने एक वीडियो बनाया ऑलरेडी आज. एंड ऑल्सो मैंने सोचा यार वीडियो तो बना लिया, स्ट्रीम भी कर लेते थोड़ी देर. जितनी देर एनर्जी रहेगा उतनी देर स्ट्रीम भी कर लो मैं. तो स्ट्रीम भी स्टार्ट कर लिया. एंड जो मैंने कल रिजल्ट देखा, शॉकर्स थे भाई. 4MV बॉटम पे चल रहा है. मेजर प्राइड बॉटम पे चल रहा है. वॉइन डोंकी जिनको मैंने बोला था ये पोटेंशियली ग्रैंड फाइनल्स के लिए क्वालिफाई हो सकता है, वो टीम टॉप पे चल रहा है. VC टॉप पे चल रहा है. INS टॉप पे चल रहा है. भाई साहब बहुत ही ज्यादा अनएक्सपेक्टेड ये चल रहा है. आई थिंक आज मैं स्ट्रीम स्टार्ट करके NRX, RCB, 4MV इनमें से एटलीस्ट 2-3 टीम्स को क्वालिफाई कराने में आया हूँ. I feel motivated today.
You're looking at long match
सोने से अच्छा स्ट्रीम कर लो बोल के मैं आया. देखते कितनी देर एनर्जी रहेगा.
Playing those averages a lot more than you're playing for those standout games and keeping things up here.
बताओ.
But then you turn your attention to such a small set of 12 matches.
भाई मैं सोया था पता, मैं 3 बजे सोया कल.
And that's exactly what the coaches have been
3 बजे सोया, 12:20 को उठा मैं. 3 बजे सो के.
Behind, I mean that can change so
फिर मेरे को नींद नहीं आई.
in a tournament setting like this. We're
फिर मैचेस देखने लग गया मैं.
Into the high 70s.
4 बजे सोया.
80. And right
फिर
now
1 बजे उठा आज.
only 5 teams are halfway.
फिर 1 बजे उठने के बाद थोड़ा फ्रेश होके वीडियो बनाया मैंने. कौन सा रेड बुल MMO का. खतरनाक मैचेस थे भाई रेड बुल के. वीडियो आएगा आज रात को. वो वीडियो बनाया. फिर इसके बाद थोड़ा फ्रेश होके फिर स्ट्रीम करने लग गया.
Very chaotic.
That's what I did
and a lot of teams
since yesterday.
Be able to find those points, but one lucky squad might be able to.
आज लास्ट डे है क्या? आज लास्ट चांस का आखिरी दिन है. आज के 6 मैचेस के बाद जो भी टॉप 6 पे रहेंगे वही जाएंगे ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में. बाकी सब घर जाएंगे. Zewolf पिक ऑफ हो गया. Any chances joining God like Mayank Ja? अभी के लिए कुछ ऐसा सोचा नहीं है.
It's a really nice opener on their approach, give themselves a little bit more pressure from this northeast side, but there's a lot of other teams, Stadium most notably, moving out of Paradise Resorts, close by.
Cold hai.
Trying to move into position to get Zedwolf back on up.
2 words for new god like.
Getting spotted and abused a little bit by Loops, but the surround not quite fully enacted, and Loops actually going to back off of this. IWNRX getting their player back up is huge.
Champions.
Yeah, more importantly, getting Zedwolf back into the picture is a big one because he's a player that makes up a vast portion of that painting for IWNRX. A really strong member on the squad, and losing him early would have been very sad.
अरे मतलब इतना भी नीचे नहीं है. 21 points है. एक अच्छा चिकन डिनर दे
I would be a bit tired if I was Zedwolf, you know, putting the team on the back so often.
आज 6 मैचेस है भाई, कुछ भी हो सकता है.
Brought back into the fold, raised once again from the dead.
I'm surprised to see 4MV at bottom 2. MSJ का भी ऐसी सीन है.
Xavier with oversight on towards this Loops compound that they prioritized over going for the flushes onto IWNRX.
Good evening, Spike by good evening, bro.
Team Liquid to the south side of all of this as well. Everybody in
the
circle,
qualify
but this stage blank.
मैं सच बताऊं मैं.
And I'm looking around, seeing who I'm worried about, and the circle obviously has not decided where it's going.
That is what I feel.
I think are probably in one of the hardest positions in the circle, all the way up on the northwest side.
Not consistent.
Even if it goes to that northwest island, it's much
on
more
this
likely
downslide
to be towards that south
for a while now.
And I think they're going to have a pretty rough time trying to navigate their way
they would
down
need
there. Let's see where the circle opts to push them.
They would need a lot of luck to qualify for the grand finals.
It all depends.
Is what I genuinely feel.
It all depends, and I mean, I don't think it's really.
अगर गलती से qualify भी हो गया तो finals में बहुत मार खाएगा.
Call these things, John. The stage 1. I'll tell you that right now. The Void Donkey ID now currently with one of the strongest positions in the lobby, with a northwest shift on this side of things. They could probably move over towards the northwest mountain. I think that'd probably be the best idea for them.
ये दो teams qualify करेंगे.
They struggled yesterday in boot
They're at
camp,
8,
but I
9.
think they'll struggle again.
NRX needs to be the
really
finals.
do isolate that location
have
in
to
boot
be.
camp.
They
There's a
deserve
lot of
to
teams
be.
opting to rotate through there. And
hospital
this is
गए
kind of a
थे क्या? नहीं,
symptom
hospital नहीं
throughout
गया, just
PMGC where
हैदराबाद में
we
हर
had
जगह चल
teams
रहा है bro
rotating
ये.
up towards
It is
the
not
north side,
anything
playing
serious.
hat in, down
Just
towards
cold,
rooms, but more
weather
often than
change.
not, we had a lot of teams playing around boot camp, trying to go for the shallows crossing. I'm not a huge fan of that, and I think at some point you've got to realize that these areas down towards the south and north side are a little bit more open, and you split the lobby up a little bit. For Falcons, they hate it, as it does lock them
24
in.
crores,
But this
Rishabh
time
Pant,
they early cross,
LSG.
and I think that is a great
अच्छा.
decision to make.
नहीं पता, मैंने देखा नहीं bro.
Moving
I'm completely
early.
disconnected.
Seemingly coming through,
Nice.
being profitable.
27
Loops
CR.
making their
Damn.
way on in towards a little bit of a little slice of this circle, and doing
Falcons
pretty
will
well on
qualify.
it.
इस बार वो qualify करेंगे.
Rotate coming around there. Major Pride sending across. Voin Donkey ID trying to move down in the shadow of the cliffs. The Vicious moving up to that high ground to
Do you
take
think
what could
4MV
be
will
Voin
qualify?
Donkeys,
और
but
मैंने
I feel
answer
like
किया अभी
these
थोड़ी देर
buildings,
पहले,
this
थोड़ा back करके
compound,
देख लेना
a lot
stream.
more access towards
Bro,
a lot of the rest of
महाराष्ट्र
the
आए हो
circle.
क्या?
But the Vicious want this
दो
high
बार आया
ground,
मैंने.
and I think this could also be one of the better rotates available to them in this situation. There is actually nobody up the top at the moment, and so if they can
Highest
establish
punt so
control
far.
there fast enough,
Rishabh Pant is a
could be
very
able to win
reliable
it
player,
here.
right?
Yeah, the Vicious heading up towards that northwest side. It's a little bit out of the way, and I imagine the circle might move a little bit further over towards the
LSG.
east. But we'll wait. Let's come on through. Deep Xavier attempts to make their cross, but they're going to
Bye
hang
bye.
out a little bit over towards that northeast side, and that's fair enough. RCB, on the other hand, they tried to cross early past that island, but Loops are already in position. Falcons now taking shots, though, and I think that's the smart decision from Falcons. They can cut out one player from Loops. They have a much easier time assaulting that northern edge. For RCB, this is going from bad to worse now. I think the second time we've seen RCB do this, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think you just challenge for Hatton Bridge.
देखो मैंने कल overall standings देखा मैंने. After I woke up,
this is a problem.
I was really
because so many teams are
disappointed.
rotating on the western
भाई
side.
MSJ
of boot
4MV
camp. I
Major
think it's
Pride
fair
bottom
enough
3 में.
play from RCB though,
Come on.
because they go for it many
इसलिए आज
times.
कैसे भी watch party करना है बोल के मैं decide कर लिया कि I want to watch it live.
Crossing's not going to be as
What goes down,
covered
what will happen.
because so many teams cross on the
So,
western
yeah.
side of
I
boot
might
camp.
not talk a lot
The
today,
sightlines are crazy.
but I'm going to watch every
over
single
towards
match
that eastern side. So yeah,
live.
RCB. I think
So,
they
yeah.
had
आज थोड़ा
yesterday
कम बात
to figure
करूंगा
that
मैं
out.
क्योंकि उतना एनर्जी नहीं है मेरे पास.
They didn't read into it today.
और ये नोज है ना इरिटेट करता है भाई
Yeah,
कोल्ड में.
it's-
दिस इज अ
it's not
मैं फीवर से
ideal,
झेल
and
लूंगा
we are
बट ये
seeing
कोल्ड है
that
ना बहुत
be,
इरिटेटिंग
I mean,
चीज
sort
है.
of a running theme with the hot drop, but this
बात
time around,
करने
Deep
नहीं देता
Xavier
है.
winning that one out. RCB.
It's like when you have a
play on
cold, you
with
don't talk with your
two,
mouth,
Team
you talk with your nose.
Trying to move in from the south side, but they're out in the blue zone. They've got 4MV on the hills to the south to worry about. I think there's all four of 4MV alive there, if I'm not mistaken.
क्या बात है
And they
bro.
have managed to keep everyone going.
Voin Donkey का
Northwest
अच्छा मैच
shift
जाएगा ये
and the
भी.
Vicious with their rotate up there, that could have been Voin Donkey.
Voin Donkey to the
Could have been
finals.
Major Prides, but the Vicious are the ones who have made
Voin
that
Donkey to
move,
the finals.
and now they can spread out over the mountaintop.
Yeah, it's a big old gamble. Again, with that circle,
भाई आपकी नोवा की
it felt
जर्सी
like it was
कब
going to
आने
lean a
वाली
little bit
है?
further towards the east there.
सिंगापुर में
So the Vicious is going to take up residence on the northwest
जहाँ मेरा हो रहा है वो
mountain.
जर्सी
The amount of
का,
times it actually
वहाँ टाइफून चल रहा है
finishes
bro.
on northwest mountain.
So अभी
Very
के लिए
few. So I think that's why
वो
teams have
टाइफून खत्म होने
gambled
दो.
underneath, which
उधर
I think isn't the worst
पावर
move.
नहीं है
I
कितने
think the
काफी दिन
Vicious,
से,
it was
तो
a
बहुत प्रॉब्लम
fortuitous
चल रहा है
circumstance
टाइफून की वजह से.
well, no one else
वो
is
फिक्स
taking
होने
that.
के
We have
बाद
nowhere
वो
else to
होगा.
go. So
मैंने
let's
बोला
head up
यार
there anyway and we'll
stay
just take
safe.
residence. Now
मेरे को अभी
teams
कोई
will have
जर्सी
to
वर्सी
try
की
and assault
नीड
that
नहीं है.
position. Vicious
ऐसे
will have
सब
to be
कुछ
very
फिक्स होगा तब
careful.
सेंड
We
कर
all
देना.
know
मैंने
how
यही बोला.
difficult it is
Last
to
meeting.
hold all four corners, as well as holding down
चल Major
trees
Pride.
with the BTR.
चिकन.
Station. Ooh, getting caught on the fold back there as 4MV make their approach from that south side. Going to move up towards the compound here. Dropping the smoke on the teammate, but BTR in danger. 4MV, they take a knock, which is going to slow this down a little bit. Is that RCB, the remaining duo? They've wrapped all the way around the west side now, underneath the cliffs that the Vicious sit atop of, and could actually have an impact on this fight. If BTR take this push, then RCB could chime in. They've got 77 all the way out to the west to worry about. The Major Pride do not want to let 4MV get any closer than this. And rightly so, as 4 players, they are deadly. The question is, can they stay
any predictions
as 4?
for this match?
It's the
not really, bro. But I really want
pushing up the hill
bottom
here.
teams to get a winner.
For a lot of teams that want to get over towards that location that currently
so
RCB is holding quite nicely. They have that western outpost,
zone
just a good spot to play.
Void Donkey के पास अच्छा है.
might try and make a wrap over towards the western side. I don't mind that decision.
वो तो अच्छा करने ही वाले
to assault this location for too long, but BTR are up over towards Major Pride. Lovely nade from AZ though to start things off.
Elementrix on the door frame, not connecting, but the back line is low. BTR taking a little bit of damage. The cross back out wide, trying to suppress this door frame. The heal goes through. BTR on the inside, staying up with 2, keeping the fight going. Major Pride, they lost Evo Station earlier, but they haven't lost one since. And the nades on out do not connect either way. RCB not moving forward. Don't want to risk it too much here. Even if there is that biscuit at stake, Elementrix finally connects that spray down towards the back lines. The shotgun shells for Satar.
Good job, Major Pride.
BTR alive.
बस यही momentum carry forward
Major Pride hold their combat.
Major Pride need a big resurgence today. They want to claim any kind of spots that they held from the previous group stage into the survival stage. Good, here in Last Chance, they have faltered in a big way.
NRX का Z-Wolf knock है. Falcons का top knock है. Falcons का top rev हो जाएगा.
Falcons also who have taken fair few knocks here, actually. Bit of a struggle. I think that's versus IWNRX, but I believe the Falcons should be able to clean this out.
Zone देखो बे.
You'd hope so. We managed to make that landfall. I mean, this is again one of those river crossings. The Falcons from boot camp.
Falcons
taking that route across the water, trying to get all the way through, managing to do so successfully.
Xavier is also cooking way.
RCB couldn't.
5 finishes उनके पास भी.
And getting onto this cliffside, really
NRX
nice
bahar, by the way.
Now because they can move to this compound that nobody currently sits in further inland. I'm kind of surprised that there's no one here. I mean, Loop sent all the way up to the top of the mountain in between the Vicious.
आखिरी मैच तक बहुत close चले जाएगा इस बता
रहा हूँ. has crossed over yet.
Chips finish. D-Plus क्या का एक ही बंदा बचा है.
It's a tough.
I think it's Fabian.
Very, very tough crossing. There were so many sidelines off towards that western side. Very difficult. I
Ryzen ने छोड़ दिया competitive.
Very impressed by Falcons this game because it was a really good adjustment. I think they're one of the few teams here that have made adjustments on their gameplay coming in through from yesterday. They really analyzed that. And again, this is something that RCB did not do. It's the complete opposite scenario. Falcons realize that they get cut in so massively over towards boot camp. So as soon as they see that northwest circle shift, they instantly are moving.
Are you feeling well today?
Locked down on that coastal side, which is very easy to do, by the way, where you just get sent nades over towards you on that cliff face or towards those rocky outcrops. So it's very proud of Falcons' rotation, and it will give them more points in the back pocket. They're already up to 6 here just because they've had a lot of control. Regardless of whether they go down in the next few minutes, it's already a decent game in terms of point scoring for them, up to now 49 points. So roughly around about 30 points away from that predicted barrier.
मेरे को तुम लोग ने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा, तुम लोग को याद है? जो रेडार के अंडर द रेडर जो टीम्स है, उन टीम्स में से कौन सी टीम्स क्वालीफाई हुआ ग्रैंड फाइनल्स के लिए? देखो भाई, अंडर द रेडर वाली टीम्स ही है टॉप पे सारे. INS, VD, VC.
Only 6 of them can achieve that. Reyes sees Magnum, but he's given them the slip, sliding down the long-range hillside and up to the rock again.
Top 6 cut off around 70-80, I think.
Staying safe for just a moment longer, but there is a crossfire.
अच्छी है, लेकिन बैठने का तरीका अभी बड़ा कैसा है?
डाल रहे हो.
The nades could start to roll down. 77, they're giving it a good fight, but look at the angles that the Vicious hold against them. Limbo boom up into the blue. Shifu as well behind the tree. Diminor suppressed by that backstop angle. As Mir and Sejong, they try and make their dash up as well. Spray on the open broadside, but Reyes is into the blue. David finds the shot to Seiwu, the shutdown as well.
MSJ, bye-bye.
And the knocks come through thick and fast.
MSJ, bye-bye.
Take the tumble.
I get it. I don't like it. It's full broadside as well. I can somewhat understand why they try and go for this rotate, considering the fact that they heard the fighting from Vicious coming through. They assumed that the attention would be elsewhere, so they just make that mad dash. But down towards the east side, potentially, even headed over towards the mountain on that north and just chilled out there for a little while longer.
सबके सब like करो
earlier in the game.
Action not finished.
Stage 5. I mean, they were on the northern edge for a long time. But yeah, Loops now.
Fabian गया.
Holding a very strong compound over on that northwest island. The Vicious opted to hold over towards that northwest side, but I think Loops really picked their time very well to pick up over towards the ruins at the top of the mountain. Lovely stuff. realistically. Very, very lovely stuff.
2 people say loops.
77, putting more pressure on.
आप लाइव करते हो इसलिए
The
PMGC
Vicious not taking them down. I thought they had them dead to rights, Blank, but getting all the way up that road, that ramp up towards the top of the mountain. I mean, they haven't made it all the way yet, but getting as far as they've got, still fairly impressive. Magnum, though, finally going down. No trade to be seen either. The Molotov on the hilltop nearly tickling it, but not quite connecting there. Shifu darting through the rocks. Those cracks, those crevices, the crenellations, giving him the cover he needs, and a knock, a flush found. Shifu doing work towards the Vicious's hold. The Xavier looking to move on in as well from that northern side after their hot drop. They've only got Lamborghini left now. The crossing not so successful, and the Vicious, despite having the high ground for so long, have been pushed aside.
Yeah,
losing one player is not the end of the world for them, certainly. For 77, it's could have gone a lot better. I think it was more of a case of the fact that, you have the team over towards that eastern side that they have to focus over towards. 77 took their moment and they tried to run with it as much as possible. Shifu's just trying to get some more placement points on board. He knows how volatile this lobby is currently. This is a mad dash from him. Maybe gets behind the rock and hit a heal. Still has a little longer to go to get into the circle, but a nice salvage here from RCB, who is down towards their south side currently. And 4MV up against Major Pride. Both down a couple of players. Major Pride with 4 elims, 4MV with 4 of their own, but 3 players total, looking to cut out both AZ and Elementrix with Doc on this off angle.
One more.
That's a worrying sentence, Blank. With Doc on the off angle, we'll have to wait and see if that plays well for them, because 4MV, they need Doc to stay alive. He does regroup a little bit.
VC Saat finishes 3 man.
Does finally go down. I mean, I felt like that push was long to be shut down. Oh dear.
Doc finish.
Oh no, Blank.
Demeanor.
Why did I have to say anything? Goodness me. Doc taken down on the off angle. There he goes, and it's the Vicious to do so.
Oh, John just cursed
Major Pride bahar.
Big time. Elementrix goes down. So Major Pride will pick up one more elimination. Not sure if he was able to steal that away. And now Loxy looking to do a little bit more damage over towards Falcons as they rotate through. I think they were one of the teams to pick up one of those points over towards Major Pride.
East got 600 damage.
Finding a shot towards the Vicious. That's raised again. This is the difficulty for Vicious's position, is they have to hold so many angles that there's always an opportunity for a backstab there. Now the Vicious down to just 2 players.
Beautiful
an
match
elimination game is wonderful, and that sits them firmly in first place.
VD
8 eliminations.
No, एक बंदा बचा है.
Really
Falcons 10 finishes. 3 man.
The west side though, Incilio still have a chance to fight back.
अब गया Void Donkey.
Getting rid of Void Donkey.
Beautiful. 12 finishes, क्या? 12 finishes, 3 man
down for Falcons. That's going to put 2 more eliminations on their tally, with 12 points found so far. 6 teams remaining. How many more placements can they get? 2 players from 4MV over the hill. The Vicious are going to chime in towards RCB. And Kimmers cannot stand up to it.
Bro.
The high ground still so dominant on this angle. A very wide split, 1-on-1 for the Vicious on the top side, but it's going to work out. They're not taking too much flack.
It's very likely that Falcons at least picks themselves up a second place here, and we're starting the game on 43 points with 13 eliminations already. It is a wild result from Falcons. And again, a lovely adjustment from that team. We heard from the start of the day saying they were confident coming into this one and the boys were going to make it work. I am very happy with what I've seen so far. And again, that one adjustment, that one-time adjustment that you need to make to have a better game at the start of the day here could be the difference between getting into a top 6 and not. Like getting a huge match. I said this earlier, that Sandhawk does open up the floodgates for huge elimination games, and Falcons at 21 minutes being on 13 eliminations fold so well with this circle. It's even better.
Oh my goodness me, the Falcons.
Nice damage on the
Onto an
Robapex.
Ascension game. Loxy goes down next.
4 finishes.
They're giving it a good go
Last
as well.
man standing.
A chance to put numbers back up on the board. A
Falcons
mild elimination count, but they are now up into the top 4. Loops.
This will be a huge match for Falcons.
We're able to sail on into a winning compound position, but they've only got 1 elim, Blank. And going down here would be disastrous considering the position that they held. And it seems all but inevitable that the Falcons are going to take this one away from them. 9 elims for the Vicious. Successful campaign towards the top of the tables, but the Falcons are here to play. And top spots Nino. Gets the flush as well. Around the edge of the rocks, Diminor looking for that sneaky little angle there. from the top. How much further can they go? Apex.
Nice one, Apex.
Forced out by the nade. Contact with Icy.
Yeah,
wins out the trade. The nade goes long.
But
Not on the
जाते
weapon
जाते
swap,
एक है वो.
Falcons lose a player. That could be the opening the Vicious need.
2v1 are on 17 eliminations.
Top knock.
They're looking for a 30-point
Top
game,
finish.
which would put them incredibly close.
कौन है आखिरी बंदा?
to
Action है
picking
क्या?
up
Action or East?
almost 70 points on the match. Not 70
East.
points on this game, but 70 points total. The Vicious, though,
ये
could
ऊपर
get
से
this
नीचे
res
कूद
going
नहीं
through.
सकते ना.
And Falcons, how
Fall
likely
damage
is
से
it
पड़
for them
जाएगा
to
ना.
live all the way through here? They were assaulted from both
ऊपर से
sides.
नीचे कूद नहीं
Apex really
सकते.
putting a stun in their ascension here, as you called it.
Falcons का dinner है boys.
Who has the middle?
I think it is the Vicious, actually.
I think एक कूदेगा दूसरा बंदा
Could it
ऊपर
be
से
both?
एंगल
Is
बना
there
के
an
मारने की
overhang
कोशिश
here?
करेगा.
It looked like there's a little overhang that East is currently sat in. They may both have it. 4 first aids for East. Tactic here. Blank dip out into the blue. Take damage below 75. Oh, that's a nice nade.
East FPB करके बैठना
Bounce
पड़ेगा.
is wide. I thought the cook on that could have been a little bit
It's
better.
a smoke.
Okay.
ओए ओए ओए
Okay. So,
ओए.
okay, that's fair. But that's going to stop him from peeking out wide, so he cannot
कूदेगा ये कूदेगा
dip too
कूदेगा
far out.
कूद गया कूद गया.
Drop down. David
Nice
goes
one,
low.
nice one, nice
Trying
one,
to
nice
pop
one.
the
One
DBS
more,
shot.
one more.
Goes wide with 1, 2, and the
Bas.
third spray down.
Get the
17.
Elim.
18 finishes में. 18
elims.
East के 9 solo finishes.
Need to be timely on these first aids, and Diminor has the middle.
अबे
This
heal
should
battle
be the
not
Vicious
possible,
just
heal
cleaning
battle
this
not
one up, which
possible.
is disappointing.
सीधा chicken मिल
But
गया
the
इनको.
Falcons have a massive game. The Vicious on the high
Strategy
ground.
देख रहे हो? एक
Take
जाएगा
that
kill
top
लेने,
spot.
दूसरा बंदा आराम से बैठेगा ऊपर.
Everything has changed on these tables. The
This
Falcons
is why heal battle is not possible in
finally
global.
coming alive here.
This is why.
It's
9
technically
solo
a
finishes for
misplay
East,
from East actually,
18
which
finishes
is really unfortunate.
for Falcons.
I mean,
Falcons
it's a
are
massive
qualified for
game
the
from
grand
Falcons
finals.
nonetheless in terms of
Super happy
elimination
for them.
count. But there was an
Chalo bhai.
opportunity there to take a little tick of damage and get the first aid kit rolling beforehand, which might have actually won them the game. And he had the first aid kit. The Vicious did not there, John. We'll see what the boys on the desk have to say about that, because in my opinion,
Time and time
definitely
कितने
a
बार
misplay.
prove गए भाई Falcons में. Qualify होते होते बाहर हुए थे.
Maybe a small
League stage
misplay,
में.
but still a big W for both these two teams at
फिर
the end of
इधर
the day
देखो,
here.
style
Like I'd
qualify
say, I mean, a massive amount of eliminations going Falcons'
तबीयत
way, as
कैसी है
well as the
भाई
Vicious
तबीयत मेरा
holding that
वैसा ही है.
Northwest
बस
Mountain
आज थोड़ा
down. Only losing a couple
मन
of
है.
players. Like honestly, Hodrix
मन
and
ज़्यादा
Max,
है,
that
तो
was
कर रहा
a
है
clinic
ऐसे.
from both those two teams.
Oh, yes, sir, indeed, Max. Goodness
East-
gracious. Do we
East and
expect
top.
that kind of performance from the
ये दोनों
Falcons?
जब
Are
तक
you
है
kidding
Falcons
me?
में कुछ नहीं होगा boys team.
Falcons were sweeping, Vicious were holding the mountain
East
side.
has
I mean,
more
the
than
two
proved
teams that did the
himself
best
in this.
game
in this
approach here.
PMGC.
Just got himself the chicken dinner, though. I was saying the exact
भाई
same
सबके
thing.
सब hit that like button. 1000 like कर दो यार फटफट.
East there, hot.
Why did you expect Tianma to be eliminated? Almost everyone put them in
first
top
aid.
3. I did not expect, to be honest. But
Maybe they win it. I still think it
at
would have
one
been close.
point,
I think it would have
मेरे
been
को भी
depending on how
लगा था
early would have the
कि भाई
first tick damage
इस flow में
started
जा
hit,
रहे. I don't think ये
Diminor,
finals
and
में जा
I think it would have
पाएंगे.
been maybe down to like a 1-2 second difference.
Finals
but
क्या survival में ही बाहर हो
regardless,
गए bro.
Vicious, they held
मैंने
up
बोला भी था
Mountain
मेरे
versus
stream पे.
77
I'm
and
not
Miriam
sure how
taking
many
up
of you have.
North here, Hodrix, and
Took me
clearly those
seriously.
two fights is what enabled Vicious to compete for that win in the first place.
Yeah, and I think regardless of the situation, with how much
11
room what we
finishes,
saw up on top,
dinner.
yeah, it wouldn't matter. Vicious, I think, had the victory no matter what. But I mean, goodness gracious, I mean, with Falcons, when you put that many eliminations on the board, I think you're just happy, right? You're like, hey, we're good to go, baby.
भाई कल
Now all we gotta do is put a
देखते
couple
एक
big
team
games,
liquid
you
का
know, on
player
Airgale, and we're gonna be set for
सांप
the
बन
grand
के
finals. But
1v3 कर
man,
दिया
how
था.
good have
अच्छा.
the Vicious been, man? These guys, I'm
मैंने
gonna
देखा
say
नहीं
it right
मैंने.
now, the most improved team.
I was sleeping.
Without a doubt, right?
I mean, as of right now, the big step up definitely in the.
Is
in
today the last day?
chance.
Today is last day for
I
last
still
chance.
I don't know what to say about
The
this team,
next
to be
grand
completely
finals
honest,
directly.
Hodrix. That right now this is their third win. This is their third win, and this is actually
Right?
back-to-back chicken dinner. They wrapped up yesterday with a chicken dinner versus the side of Loops, and here they're able to get himself a chicken dinner over on Sanok, and it opens up the floodgates as to what kind of performance you were going to get in your first
भी
game.
जा रही है
The
finals
Vicious,
question mark.
with this chicken dinner,
I
they're
don't
in
know.
my opinion. Falcons looking at
They
them in
would need
particular,
a lot
Hodrix,
of
if you
help.
look back at their past performances, yesterday's matches,
They
their
would need
lowest
a lot of
elimination
help.
game was 3 elims. Over their matches, they had 6 elims, 3 elims, 8 elims, 4 elims, 3 elims, 4 elims. If they just somewhat replicate their consistent elimination average of yesterday, Hodrix, Falcons are in 100%. All they need to do is a few points here or there, and they are in the grand finals in London.
bro. They replicated it in one game.
For me, only
Like,
Doc
what
is
are we
putting
talking
effort,
here?
looks like
That
it.
is insane. I mean, with that
उसका
one
बहुत
chicken or that
heavy
one,
roll है.
I mean, might as well have been a chicken with how many
तो
points
वो
they just
ज़्यादा
got. It's
दिखता है, but
insane. They're gonna rocket launch
teammates
themselves up the
also
leaderboard.
doing a lot of
They gotta be
work.
so close
as a
to
team, they are
even first place at this point. Yeah, if you're Falcon,
not doing
I think
well.
you're flying
That's why
high
they
right
are
now,
struggling.
Jason.
Well, I mean, for the Vicious to start things off with a win, basically solidifying
Very
yourself in the grand
dog-dependent
finals
team,
has to feel so good for them. It potentially causes them to be an out threat for some other teams if they want to go for some hot drops, like you're saying with
if you got
Falcons as
chance,
well,
will you
Summer
sponsor
League.
PMGC?
I mean, we've seen them have their ups and
मैं
downs over the
sponsor
course of the
करूँ,
year.
कैसे
It's
कर
been
सकता हूँ
mostly
मैं?
downs, if we're perfectly honest, but to get themselves in the grand finals would be a massive lead. Not to mention Max gets to keep them as their favorite team. But there's something we can't forget about, gentlemen. Centur said at the start of the day, we're going to keep dropping.
Falcons
But
हो
okay.
गया है
And guess what? So did
I think
Xavier.
qualified
Except
है,
Star were the
Falcons.
ones to lose out on
They
that
got
battle this
60
time.
plus points. अभी भी 5 matches बचे.
Lucky for the Xavier, I'll say, like, cool, you guys don't lose anyone. There was
So,
the
yeah.
it's always the big issue, right? When you look at
think
these
so.
hot drops, it's not if you win or lose the hot drop. It's more about how many players do you keep alive. DX keeping 4 alive, that's huge. That
I
is
saw your
really,
profile
really
in
big.
LinkedIn.
And they even keep
Okay, bro,
Lamborghini
Brandon.
alive pretty late in the game. So
मैं
they also get
मेरा
some
खुद
decent
का
placement
LinkedIn में
points
देख के
off
हो
the
गया.
back of that. It was the one
Almost
sign
8 साल हो
Jason.
गया शायद.
I hope we don't see any more hot drops until like maybe the last 2 matches, unless teams want to try and just do a final dash in the top 6.
पूरे मेरे को बड़ा
It's
chicken
over.
चाहिए.
We
Exactly.
won't see that anymore, and for that, I thank you, PUBG Mobile Esports.
Like-
No more.
वो लोग day 1
I
पे जो
wish
निकाले
you
थे ना.
guys
20
watching
kill
could
का.
have heard me
वैसा
in the
कुछ चाहिए
background
उनको.
while we were watching this, because I kid you not, we did see the hot drop, so I was looking into the ceiling.
Imagine
and I was
Falcons
thinking,
got a dinner in
Xavier,
this match.
Stupid.
They would have got one more frag.
You know, and then all
And
of
a
a
dinner.
sudden they started getting like 2-3 knocks, and I was like, not stupid,
29 points.
genius,
29.
genius, you know, like just like that. And that's how it goes when it comes to hot drops. You know what I'm saying? If you win it, you're a genius.
4MV का
and if you
ticket करवा
don't,
दो
man,
Spike भाई. अरे
it's
भाई
like, what were
ticket
you
करवाने की
thinking?
जरूरत
I
नहीं
don't
है,
want
कर देंगे.
to go to the end of the day, see Stalwart not qualify, and look back.
How many
to
will
the
qualify?
Sandhawk.
Top 6 will qualify.
Like, just 4 points. Let's just throw it out there.
The MVP of this match
If
is
they
David.
don't manage to pull it off, like, what's going on?
If they don't qualify, I think they it's
Spike by
deserved karma.
2021 वाली PM.
To be brutally honest, that you commit to a hot drop, you know there's a risk,
PMGC pick.
and you get in these matches definitely understanding that that could be,
and it
you know,
feels
your
like
your
nostalgia.
dual or end all in these matches when you're in terms of your overall positions in the rankings.
Cut
But
off
here we're
फिलहाल
gonna be
चल
talking
रहा है
about
after
overall.
7 matches.
Falcons jumping up to second place.
35.
They're going max speed 2 right now. Hodrix and
इस हिसाब से देखा जाएगा तो cut off जाएगा somewhere
second
around
place with
60
that many
bro.
eliminations. I mean, right now,
Somewhere
yeah,
around 60 would be
Vicious
the
are in,
cut-off.
Falcons are in my opinion, if they just get a
Bro,
few.
I am
एंट्री अच्छी है
always-
लेकिन
I am
बैठने का
always
तरीका अभी बड़ा
budging
कैजुअल
for
है.
Look at this
Falcons, but
point sponge, man. You have a drop off from like 62 and
Fuses
4.
nodding
You
head.
got 43,
Tianma
35
just needed
tied
3
between Star
points,
177.
bro.
Like
Did
that
you
is a
see action?
huge
7
gap
solo
between those
kill.
teams in 4th and
Hiranga,
7th.
love you, bro.
Dude, absolutely.
Megnath, bro,
So,
yesterday I have
those
not
teams are
watched
going
a
to need to try
single
to
match.
replicate what we just saw here. But man, Falcons,
And day before yesterday
I mean,
also
you
did
got to
not watch
be
a single
so
match.
stoked. With that one game,
मैंने
you're
बस
pretty much set. The
standings
rest of
देखा
these
मैंने.
teams, though, I mean, now there's only like
बस
what?
उतना ही.
Yeah,
Tianma
2
का तो
slots
expected
available
था
if
मेरे
you really
लिए.
think about it, considering how well these top teams are
But I did
performing.
not expect
so
MSJ,
it's only going to get more hectic from
PMGC.
here on out.
Yeah, that's true. Looking at the second
Major
page,
pride.
though, you know what? I want to highlight one
suffer
team that's
like
been
this.
disappointing me a bit this last
It's
chance.
not over
It
yet,
has to
but
be IWNRX. Where is
cut off मेरे
the
साथ से
huge,
60 के आसपास
insane
जाएगा.
fragging potential of this team? Do
They
we
still have a
win
chance.
this?
Not for
This
MSJ,
entire
but
PMGC
4MV and
is just
RCB.
not
They still have a
really
chance.
flourishing the way we wanted in the most important stage of IWNRX. Like, this is where
Last
those
chance में
eliminations
day 3
would
है.
be
No,
so
no, no.
damn important.
सिर्फ 2 दिन का
And
है
yet
last
here
chance.
they're trying to leave the
Today is a final
southern
day.
eastern side of the late game circle. They're trying to push uphill and they're getting completely obliterated by everyone. They couldn't even cross the river because they took the same rotation path as Falcons. So IWNRX, they need to get in better spots if they want to take fights, because right now they just
4MV
barely
के
reach
पास
the circle every match.
काबिलियत है लेकिन साथ
And
में
I'll tell you what, guys,
combination
you guys
खत्म.
watch it. Make sure you vote right
चुका
now
है.
for one of these teams, because I mean, I wouldn't even mind hearing from my WNX at this point,
Panotti
Jason,
Spike.
because I mean, where has Z-Wolf been? I think that it's really up to him to kind of like,
But
you know, hype
Falcons
his team up
पहला
and just
match
get them going right now.
I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of teams in there that actually a lot of teams not even listed that I'd love to hear from. You know, if Max is calling out IWNRX, I got to call it Major Pride. Like this team
ये top 14 सभी qualified है.
played so well in the
Top four
group
में जो बैठे.
stage and looked really well, like
fifth
really good in the
spot
survival
के लिए
stage.
लड़ना
But
पड़ेगा,
you know, to
नीचे
kind of go
वाले
back to what I
teams
said
को.
yesterday, it seems like they just run out of gas here at the very end, like right in front of the finish line, as they're going to be currently sitting down in 14th place at 25 points. I mean, again, it is still possible, but these teams really need to pick up some chicken dinners here if they want to have a chance.
अबे ये क्या स्प्रे कर रहा है? अरे mouth में भी कर रहा है वो spray.
Face
spray
joined
वाला.
by the Vicious. Bruno, they just got the chicken dinner in Sandhawk. Yesterday, you were saying going into Erangel that you guys were feeling anxious. You guys were able to edge out a win on the final Erangel. Now that you got this win in Sandhawk, how's the team feeling and what are you guys going to be doing in Erangel?
The team is feeling very good. We are comfortable, relaxed to play. I know the guys know we have some confidence to play Sandhawk. For me, we have the best Sandhawk in the world. I know how to rotate, I know how to positionate, and how to do some things in the mistakes of the enemies in the game. And we are very comfortable, confident, and we go for more to one more games here.
Bro, go in live chat and spam bring back Jonathan.
Love the confidence. Hopefully that keeps going because you guys are a dark horse team. Back to you guys.
How to say L lag gayi in Mongolia?
I mean, dark horse team. I mean, they basically going to be qualified through. They have really nothing to worry about the rest of the day.
But अभी लगी नहीं है.
Shoes, I'd be starting to look at some of these teams like, who do I not want to potentially play against in the grand finals?
Qualify for the grand finals. One chicken.
I love it. And what Seven said,
80
nailed it
cut
on
off.
the head, dude, that confidence. I mean, just hearing that, saying that we got the best Sandhawk in the world with zero hesitation.
I think 60,
that is the mentality you need if you want to have any success in London coming up around the corner, Max. So to hear that from them, I mean, I'm pumped.
Hey, bro, they dropped Camp Charlie and they insta-rotated up near Camp Alpha onto the mountain. They snatched it away from BTR. I think BTR were like, wait, how the hell did we lose the spot we drop into? But no, that rotation was so quick and so well executed, they got the chicken din off the back of it. So Sandhawk is nailed, but
can we expect 25
got Rumble here coming up next, and that one is a bit rougher for them in the past, so we'll see if they can get another win over on the grassy pastures.
4MV.
Oh, it's going to be rough for any team out here, knowing there's only 5 matches left standing between you and getting through to the grand
RCB as
finals.
well.
So let's throw it back to our commentators to kick off this first Erangel.
MSJ को क्या हो गया भाई?
Erangel coming at you for the first time today, and for the last time. Of course, we keep saying a lot of lasts here in the last chance stage, but this is the last start to the last section of Erangel's blank. Let's go with that.
We'll go with that, yeah, absolutely. But remember, you can vote for who you'd like to see in the next interviews between Voin, Donkey, BTR, RCB, or IWNRX. Head over towards the English YouTube chat or the Indonesian YouTube chat and make your votes known of who you'd like to see get interviewed next and how they're going to be changing their performance to make sure they get in towards that top 6. So you can have an impact on the show yourselves right now here. But it will be a lot of our teams inside the lobby that are looking for an impact right now. Just how Falcons dropped a superhero landing over on Sandhawk.
Military base circle is not good.
Hitting those drop spots. We'll see if the Xavier. Well, it's unlikely that we'll see the hot drop here, but
4MV के लिए definitely yes. अच्छा.
Southside 4MV out over Sosnovka military base.
Rahul bhai spam करना बंद करो ना.
To take a tumble early. I mean, the plane path's fairly secure. You can have a lot of access around the map. No one too close by. Maybe Stalwart and Icy from Falcons.
किसने बोला था military base circle?
Blank.
देखो 4MV अगर इस मैच में अच्छा करेगा.
And this is a fast military circle, right? Sometimes you get it where it hasn't decided. They're still on the mainland, and then second phase it goes there. This is where teams can pull out the full set play, and I'm going to be really interested to see how that unfolds here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for down towards that south side,
Harry
people really have to get moving really quickly. Incilia's in a good position. As I said before, next interview, make sure you vote. Donkey, BTR, RTB, or IWNRX. But yeah, down towards that south side, teams will be getting a move on right now. Major Pride very close to this one. Could go for a swim over towards those north compounds, but likely would like to maintain some of those vehicles going forward.
देखो इस मैच में 200% देना
for a lot
पड़ेगा
of our squads because we've had 4 teams do marvelously well over yesterday and that first match, in particular Voin Donkey, Incilio, Falcons and the Vicious. There's only realistically 2 spots now up for grabs in 5th and 6th place, which is a wild thing to be saying going into map 2, but that's D+'s spot as well as Stalwart. D+ a little bit more secure than Stalwart are, but things can change very quickly because Stalwart currently on a tiebreaker with 77, with Loops and RCB only behind by 1 point each.
Looking at these bridge crossings, Blank, we've had now 4 teams make their way through.
This match is a decider.
Xavier on the west behind IWNRX. IWNRX made move first, and then Incilio got across that bridge first on the east side. Major Pride a little later, but they've moved over to Novo. Incilio looking to hold the compound to the south side of that bridge. Teams moving in from the north side. I wouldn't be too surprised to see some rotations coming through here. We've seen some aerial approaches to this south island as well, as Incilio actually catch Palucci on the crossing. Only one of Major Pride got through, but an answer. Long-range Vector from the high ground there, as Westron spots him out immediately. Taken down, iron sights on the AUG. Very low on the loot. And I mean, this is what happens when you have these early rotates, right? You're a little bit sparse on that loot, but looks like Incilio going to be able to get that res fairly cleanly. I wonder if they've got the meds to keep him topped up.
Westron already finding one, Cilio finding Palucci as well, and Major Pride. Unfortunately for Jason, despite wanting them to do better, poking them with the stick, they are not reacting at all. And I think for Major Pride, it's such a painful experience for them at the moment, going from some high heights down to some very low lows, and it's been a complete opposite for some of our teams inside the lobby. Like Incilio.
This is harder than I thought, guys.
Like the Vicious.
It is harder than
in particular.
I thought. ये light ऐसा गिर रहा है ना आंखों के ऊपर.
It's a bit of a struggle. 4MV currently with 31 points, but a military-based circle means that now is their time to shine, John.
Incilio on the chase here, looking for Elementrix. They want to clear this one out fully. Elementrix spotted. He's giving it his best, giving them the run around here. Into the crates he goes, turning it around. Now it gets dangerous for Incilio on the roll-up. And they've got that 1-2 swing out wide. I know UMP shut down. No answer seen. And Major Pride with just Evo Station. Incilio in Novo now. Don't really think that they should be going back over to that bridge hold at this stage. You've got to be worried that there's more teams putting pressure on from that north side, and you're not fully established. You leave that one, you head into the hills, because you've already got 3 points for this match. You just want to keep this one going.
Well, I think for Major Pride, that might be a death sentence for them, actually, on match 2. It's going to be difficult to climb those rankings back up again.
If it is late, then it's no.
Depending on which team is able to get ahead here in 6th place.
It's
not easy. For me to say, John, I personally would count them out at this point in time. It's certainly doable for them to have massive games back to back to back, but with seeing them play so far, it just seems so unlikely for them to find the big even games that they need and that they are looking for. I don't think we've seen too many signs of life out of this squad here in the last chance, so I'm pretty much counting that team out now.
Teams will start to fall by the wayside with only 4 more matches after this. If they go down in a bad spot. Point Donkey ID, they have impressed us so far. They've managed to find their way to the southwest side.
Survival हो गया ना,
fallen off a little bit
already. This is
on
last
the flip
chance.
side of it, which is unfortunate. Now they're down to 2 players alive.
आज जो भी teams top 6 पे रहेंगे वो जाएंगे grand finals.
Points, but
बाकी सारे teams
just not there. They're 30 points though, and the bubble is at 35 right now. It's all still so close.
Yeah, I think this will probably be the game where we'll see that 6th place start to pull ahead a little bit.
Light off सही है,
but again, it has been incredibly tight in terms of the rankings at the moment. Good nade, pops very closely by 1 HP. Pretty much. Second one will do the trick, and that one will fully flush him out. So Doc being able to get 3 of the eliminations alongside the rest of his squad. That's great news for 4MV, and again, exerting a little bit of presence here in Sosnovka. And I think that's important to do around about that 4 to 6 minute mark, because this will be the most looted team out of anyone else inside the lobby. They have all of military base to pick up exactly what they need. They have more nades than anyone going into this circle. So yeah, very good from 4MV to start.
I'm not even sure what I was thinking जब मैंने stream start किया. अरे हो जाएगा 4 घंटे का तो stream
very
है.
much what's needed for 4MV if they
अभी
want to get up
towards
that top 6.
I have a running nose and a mild headache.
I mean, it's the only goal here. There is a little bit of money. Well, I say a little bit. There's quite a bit of money on the line, but that is really not the focus. It's about getting towards London. Getting into those top 6.
There will be a chance for Indian teams to get onto international.
These teams, every single one of them has made that journey, made that
but I'm not sure, brother. I'm not sure when.
Proved that they have the capability to make it work. Some of them denied that opportunity here. Team Liquid.
एक बार बोल दो MSJ qualify नहीं करेगा.
From the west side of Primos with a rotation down to the south side, but the military island is starting to fill in now. And these approaches are tough. East Bridge is completely open, which is an interesting factor here. D plus Kia, if they see this, if they figure it out,
this match is a decider, bro.
3 into the circle. It's
top 6 में आने के लिए they just need कितने points they need?
No one holding this bridge side.
Bro, they need only 5 points
already and got themselves into stronger positions.
अगर chicken निकाल दे तो they are like
Pride going down
safe.
early to Incilio.
MSJ देखो अभी भी zone के बाहर कहाँ बैठी है जोन जोन.
The Vicious currently up against BTR and holding them out is pretty cruel.
देखो D-Plus क्या भी वही कर रहा है.
Know that they've done
Nova
it.
से
They're
rotation.
in, most likely. Them being able to hold out teams now is not as much of an issue. Like they can actually have a lot of influence of how that top 6 unfolds. But BTR on the other hand, if they go down now, it's not likely we'll see them going into the future. With Sitar going down to the blue.
Top knock.
And they're having
action knock.
The back of it. Falcons losing
Xavier
action. That's to one player from DX Xavier, by the way.
Okay, all right. DX Xavier, they still have the chops to make it work at this point. We've seen what they can do in the survival stage. They just haven't brought it through into this last chance. And with one player, it's going to be tough, but they are on the military island. Could pick up a point or 2, try and keep themselves in the running. The Vicious up towards BTR, nade on in through to the shack. I think the Cook is still going on the inside. Zuxi down, forced to push on out. And the Vicious still in the blue zone, east side. Stay alive for a little bit longer. Trying to trade off that pressure. 3 players from BTR trying to death ball, roll around and find these off angles for the Vicious, and Bronozin is the one that they opt to go for. 3 players on the outside to drop down to the lower floor here. He wants to fight with the shotgun. Good for one. A second as well. And on the inside, he's holding the Molotov, clipping them on the
last man standing for BTR.
Hansel, the last to stand for BTR. The backup comes on in, and the backup is here now. The Vicious.
BTR को लगा कि भाई अकेला बंदा है, चलो
they
छड़ के
don't
मार
need
देते हैं.
backup, but they'll be happy to see it either way. Bronozin unfortunately does go down, and the tables are turned yet again.
Hansel's hit first aid kit though. He's very close to going down there, and Hansel will find him with the S12K.
VC is a good team.
Top finds Lamborghini. That will be the last player going down for DX Xavier. It was a rough situation by the way for Falcons because they were on a 2-2 split, and then
Xavier बाहर हो गया by the way.
On that western side were both knocked, so they had to give up on their 2-2 split there, holding out the likes of Stalwart on that north side in favor of getting all 4 players back up again. So I respect the choice there from the Falcons to rotate back across. Do you wonder if they're going to lose their final member there? Loops goes down to the play zone.
East finish.
At least one player that's out inside the blues, and Incilio holds them out over in Nova Epnoia. Incilio has been very cruel, by the way. The fact that they've stayed in Nova Epnoia this long to hold out teams coming in through from military, from Milta Power, sorry. That is a half, but I guess the stage 2 definitely possible to go for.
Stalwart trying to make their way across on the bubble right now. 1 point exceeding the mark. The Falcons. Brutal in that last match, and on 68 points now with the one they found so far. Getting closer to that mark. A nice pull down over onto Sanjay, who I mean, he had to hop out of the buggy to try and go for the fight, but hadn't slowed down fast enough.
What a circle, bro.
To be able to find that shot, but there's the answer. Getting that knock, and I think Falcons lose another. The circle shift to the north coast keeps action alive, and the other player from Falcons as well. Both of them going to sit on this north side coast.
The circle certainly has been all over the place. I mean, it's shifted far down towards that south and then over towards the western side. Void Donkey ID not quite safe just yet, but they get themselves 1 elimination. They made a very quick rotate in a boat early on down towards the south side of Sosnovka. It was a good rotate as well. And now they're set up towards that high ground that sits over towards the west, looking down towards the coastal side. So I like that play going through from them. Because of that situation. Falcons, though, have a very strong spot to play on that north side. Though only 2 players means that they are a little bit diminished in terms of power. But any eliminations they can grab now are very, very good for them. It's only 3 on this game required to breach up into 70 points. And it's just pretty much plain sailing from there. You could essentially get 3 points per game after that and be very safe in that top 6.
And that's what we talked about quite a bit yesterday, right? Is just getting those...
Why don't stress your eyes.
Those games, once you put in a lot of the big heavy lifting work on the games that you've seen, just getting those consistent points. And I mean, for Incilio, 4 points on this match should be good enough to just keep up that pace towards the 80-point mark. It'll see you safer. Same story for the Vicious. 3 elims. I mean, it's not as much, but they don't need to go too far. They've already pushed over that 80-point mark, and maybe they'll be able to get a few more here against Mir and Sejong. The roll-up for final, though, is looking good, and I spoke too soon. They get shut down. Uriel can get rezzed here. It's still stage 3 for another minute, and that is healable out in the blue.
MSJ के लिए good start है, 4 finishes.
I mean, for the Vicious, they were out in the blue for a long time. They were just holding out teams. I think they realized that they are fairly done with the last chance right now, and that they don't have to do too much more. A couple of eliminations here and there. They might drop out of first place, but
increase your volume and decrease
they'll still definitely be in the top 6.
भाई मेरा commentary का voice सही है,
getting ready for their rollout. A team that is
energy नहीं है
in
मैं जोर से
danger
बात करने के लिए.
at the moment, but in a much better spot than some of our other squads down towards the bottom of the lobby with a big potential to jump up.
S12K or DBS? I would go with S12K.
John can no longer hold the bridge here. They know they need to keep moving.
I personally
they
like
can't
S12K.
sit out there forever. They're going to expend the first aid kits and grenades, smokes that will be very much needed going into that end game. As we're almost into stage 4 here now, John, at 14 minutes into the match.
Red वाला क्या होता है?
Down to 12 teams as well. 41 players.
Attachment, muzzle.
Team Liquid have managed to make landfall from their west side. Primorsk rotate, unfortunately.
Spike by last match again. No, last match
losing
नहीं
a
है.
little bit on their
इसके
approach.
बाद
Only
और
the one
4
player
match
goes
है.
down, but still not ideal.
नहीं, इसके बाद और 3 match है.
Making their way across D plus Kia with Incilio nearby.
इसके बाद 9, 10, 11, 12. और इसके बाद और 4
right
match
now, 43 points, 5th place.
Oh.
They have managed to extract just a couple of games out of this lobby, and I feel like it hasn't been as bombastic as we've seen from them in the past, but it could be enough.
The circle is genuinely disgusting, by the way. I was about to talk about it, but didn't quite get a chance. I was going to say that if this heads over towards the eastern side, it really hurts the chance of a lot of teams. 4MV desperately wanted this to swing back over towards the west, in which case they could control the 2 buildings that sit on either side of the road there and have a very good game off the back of it. This actually supports Incilio in such a massive way. And D+ never had the chance to take shots over towards them. So the fact that Incilio started over Epnoia and now he's able to work their way over towards a very good position in the circle. You know, for Incilio, this is a game right now for them.
You know what I feel like?
I
feel like सारे big pharma companies के पास
South Korean teams once again battling off against one another.
Actual medicine है.
D plus Kia in general so far have been getting the better end of the stick, but Mir and Sejong have 5 elims. They really need to get Uriel back up. The second time he's been knocked now does find that res on the off angle, and D plus Kia lose their player out wide, back onto the blue. So they do have 3 players only, but they have the inside of this circle. High ground goes to Mir and Sejong.
Like seriously, we are living in 2024.
Trying to move around, they could sweep up to the north, but Incilio are in the way. Voindonkey ID make that same rotate. And these 2 teams, I mean, such vastly improved players, such vastly improved strat calls. And it's no wonder that they've made the same tactical decision in terms of placement on the map.
Same thing with Cancer also.
They were both the freest to move. Neither have had a secure home just yet. And they were both roaming around for around about stage 4, which I think is smart, especially on Sosnovia, because the terrain can change quite dramatically as the game goes on. So for Voindonkey ID, as well as Incilio, it's just fortunate that neither of them were given keys
and if you don't have that much vitamin D,
here.
If you don't have
instead, they
enough
do find
vitamin D,
themselves out in the open.
Then वो 4-5 दिन भी रहेगा.
But both spots are good. I would say Incilio has a slight advantage over them. Voindonkey ID once again playing a precarious spot, but we know how good they are defending at long range, preventing teams from getting close to them. That's one thing that they do very well. Is a lot of their spots easily nadeable, but they have a great understanding of not allowing teams up towards that location by keeping them at bay with gunfire. That's Major Pride down, and we'll be going out this game in 12th place. No points found for them.
Oh, and again, that is just one step closer to the precipice.
Back up!
Not being able to mount your ascension. Apex nade over to the top. 4MV. They had a good little opener into that last match blank. They survived quite late. They got a few elims, and that did put them back towards the running for that 6th place bubble. Nade up on high. Baron is down, but no one really looking to third party this Team Liquid, trying to get across towards IWNRX instead. So no side swipe angles from the south, and a nice little shutdown onto the player close by to them. Apex, Doc in action now, trying to make their way on up to secure that elim over towards Critter. Octagui wants to try and stop them, but up they go, up the ridgeline. A nade in wide from Doc, bounces behind the tree, does damage, but doesn't secure anything, doesn't get a second knock either.
It's a frustrating fight here for them because they know they need to rotate over towards that north side and wrap round to where the Falcons are currently playing.
Nice
nade. Spending so much utility over towards this. They need to dismount Stalwart from this spot. Good shot from Octagui once again. This guy holds the team the palm of his hand, keep them alive in those desperate moments. Nade on the top should take down Doc. And Apex goes very low.
Nearly going to get clipped by a second. Does fall. Stalwart are given the fight that 4MV didn't want to see. 3 elims for them. They're up to 34 points. Octagui doesn't manage to connect on the full spray there. The strafe out wide for Baron, just about evading the sightlines. And the res should be coming through.
I can't nade it, bro.
Trying to make it work. The nade perfectly placed though. And Critter finds that reverse sweep onto the fight. Octagui leads the charge. Baron cannot get out of the way of the spray this time around. And 4MV, they're going down. They are out of this one.
I don't know. So not on this match. I mean, I don't know why they played out like that. They know Octagui's a solo. I think what they should have done is pushed up as a group, took down Octagui, and then focused over towards that location on the low side. They know that player's not bleeding out. There's only a player that can move up, but let's move our attention over towards this. It's IWB NRX versus RCB. Currently taking a lot of damage.
Last man standing.
Ooh, big nades on the approach here over to IWNRX and RCB. They're pushing for that bubble spot. Stalwart, 6 elims, they're still fighting. On that western side, we saw them weather the storm, but IWNRX down only 2 elims, 34 points. RCB and Stalwart going lockstep on this match, trying to make it work. Both on 3 players are both a little bit on the outside of this one. They may just clash on the west.
Falcons losing Icy, Stalwart moving up after their fight alongside with 4MV. Action last to play here for the Falcons. 2 eliminations found on side, not a massive result.
Falcons
go down off the back of that. That's to Zadira from 77 stealing away that elimination. Mir and Sejong continue that battle over towards the eastern side versus D+, but it's Voindonkey who are holding a lot of these teams out.
On that eastern side, a major roadblock there. 77 find a player from Stalwart. Nade downhill from Mir and Sejong over towards D+ Kia. But Voindonkey still there. 2 players down. Mir and Sejong have an opening now. Incilio could look to third party here. Razor looking to secure his position first as Hoxie looks to make it unstable. Does go in, get taken down very quickly, but the nade's cooking on the back line for Mir and Sejong. Incilio flexing out, looking to try and third party. The flush goes through. They're confirming that one, but it's easier said than done. Incilio actually wrapping around the back here. Over towards Mir and Sejong. Voindonkey ID not feeling the push because it's going over towards South Korea. Seiwoo, Final, looking to try and keep it going. Uriel as well, he's low, but Final's down on the top line. A Redlick's there. Voindonkey ID run down by the hovercraft, and Uriel dips back into the blue to try and stay safe.
It's such a sad fight there for Voindonkey ID because Mir and Sejong ruins everything for them. They start a fight with them like, no, there's a team to the north, there's a team that stop this is bad for you as well.
3TN, he's been moving so slowly through Mir and Sejong and Uriel.
1v1 प्योर लेने आ रहा था ये गाड़ी में गेट इन करके गाड़ी चलाने जा रहा था.
Moving hovercrafts, the inexorable approach of Incilio as Voindonkey just try and send away. Potato down in the dip.
I'd be so mad as Voindonkey ID. It's like, this is the perfect stalemate for Voindonkey ID and Incilio to play out the rest of the game. Mir and Sejong's like, hi guys, so what are you doing over here? So frustrating. But Voindonkey ID at least get Potato over towards the center here and can ladder up to maybe a top 3. Potentially how quickly these fights conclude on the western side. RCB having a great game here with 5 eliminations total. Stalwart similarly though, pulling ahead again with 6 eliminations of their own. Fearless. Ooh, I think he'd be feeling a little bit of fear right now. I'd be scared personally. Sat inside the mist.
INS के 10 finishes, ST के 6, RCB के 5.
Steps out.
Never mind. ST बाहर, RCB के 6 अभी.
Stay alive as well. Could have gone
अगर
down.
RCB चिकन निकाल लिए
in a
match.
position to look for that peak. Loxy able to find that flush. Looking for the heal now, and RCB into the top 3. Incilio on the east, Donkey in the middle. 77 and RCB on that west side hill. Don't think Potato's got any meds and is spotted. That's Fash to find the shot. Now 3 teams remain. This northwest side needs to conclude.
RCB taking shots over towards Incilio. I think with this game, Incilio probably should just qualify off the back of this. So Incilio fans can rejoice at this point in time. 11 eliminations for them. A wonderful match. Really, really happy to see it. Wild moves over towards Magnum, taking shots outwards.
Yeah,
has an outpost to work with, and that's another point going over towards RCB, who are currently on 8. Really good result for them, and that leaves us into a 2-team scrap with Incilio versus RCB. This game means so much more for RCB than it does Incilio, so they are looking to win this one. Unfortunately, they are penned in.
We were talking a lot, Blank, about team
proper 3v3 fight, end zone, INS versus RCB.
What we're also going to be seeing over these next few games is teams start to step over that predicted bubble up towards those 80 points score lines. And this game here,
last man standing RCB.
Lit up from the sidelines, 2 of their players fall, and Incilio might go all the way, try and push towards the top of the tables, keep that one under control, as Wild is the last to stand. In a 1v2, he goes for it. Bonnet first, over the top of the hill. This is a wild push, and living up to his namesake, goes for the spray from the low ground, and they're not connecting. Incilio wondering what the hell is this guy up to.
Nice try, nice try. And with that, it's a winner for
it's just not going to work out.
INS is also qualified for grand finals.
Control from the high ground, and
RCB getting closer. RCB getting closer.
They know they're heading through to London off the back of that. RCB get themselves a little bit closer towards that final mark there. And realistically, I think for RCB, that was such an important game for them. They have been lagging a little bit, but for Incilio, there it is.
बहुत सारे नया teams आने वाला है grand finals में. Like at least 3-4.
The qualification into grand finals basically secured it for Incilio with some great play
Silas is
and
not
some
happy.
great usage of the hovercraft, I have to say, Max.
चलो guys, मैं जा रहा हूँ.
It is just the meta when we go
finals में मिलेंगे.
Island, Jason,
finals
everyone just picks
6
up as
से
many
होगा next
hovercrafts as
month
they
6
can.
से होगा. तब
You
तक
hope you
मेरा
get lucky
health
with the
ठीक हो
spawns.
जाएगा.
You get a hovercraft, you'll be unlucky
अभी
to get
energy नहीं है
a boat or a
मेरे
jet
पास.
ski, but
पूरा
otherwise,
4 घंटे stream करने के लिए.
you
I
just
hope you guys
have a
understand.
compound.
मैं जाके रेस्ट लूंगा. I'll take a nap. रात को वीडियो आएगा रेड बुल एमईओ का. देख के एंजॉय कर लेना. रेड बुल का हर रोज वीडियो आते रहेगा. फिर उसके बाद सेमीफाइनल्स चालू होने के बाद स्काई स्पोर्ट्स का भी आते रहेगा. मिलते हैं आप लोग से नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम पे विच इज ऑन December 6. अंटिल देन बाय बाय, टेक केयर, लव यू ऑल. कोशिश किया बट हो नहीं पा रहा है मेरे से.